Today we are talking about the largest hacking attack in history. A man who decided to find out what the US military and NASA are hiding. In a world where digital boundaries are challenged, a lone figure emerges from the shadows. Meet Garry MacKinnon, known as alias name Solo. Meet Garry MacKinnon, known as alias name Solo. He breached the defenses of 97 military and NASA computers, staying hidden for an astonishing 13 months. But that was just the beginning. He orchestrated the crash of 2,000 US military computers, plunging the logistics of the entire Atlantic fleet into chaos. This is the story of the mastermind behind it all. Welcome to the Global UFO Channel. Today's story falls under the category of believe it or not because this story could easily become one of the best told ones on the channel. Some might wonder why this story is so fascinating to us. Perhaps it's because the hero of our story for a period of 13 months constantly surfed NASA's and military computers in search of information that many people call conspiracy theories. Garry MacKinnon was one of us. Surfing the internet in the dead of night seeking answers to the biggest lies we've been exposed to by the US military. However, he went not one step forward but 10 steps ahead and decided to firsthand find out everything he was curious about regarding secret technologies, space, and possible aliens. And if it's true, what he disclosed to the public only confirms what many of us have already suspected, with one significant difference. Whatever you expect from this story today, it's even bigger than that.
Hello.
Garry MacKinnon was born on February 10, 1966. By profession, He was a system administrator. He had always been interested in space and everything related to it, and of course, conspiracy theories and aliens were part of that. But only after talking to people from the Project Disclosure, which was led by Dr. Stephen Greer, Garry decided to take action. Dr. Stephen Greer leads an organization and a complex project that has been trying to prove the existence of extraterrestrials for years. Keep an eye on them because my previous video about Atacama, the humanoid found in Chile, was inspired by their research. Let's go back to Garry. From February 2001 to March 2002, he hacked and smoothly navigated through military and NASA computers in search of various cases, technologies, and more. The first discovery he made will please all those terrorists who claim that NASA falsifies its video recordings and photographs at the Johnson Space Center. He discovered the existence of so-called Building Number 8, which served as a special department for processing all captured NASA photographs and videos. What that means? That means that NASA have a practice of processing images and videos, and then in some cases they are deleting elements from their videos and photographs before releasing them to the public. So that suggests that before public release, NASA reviews and edits its visual materials. According to the text, Garry MacKinnon was investigating these edited materials and found that there was significant activity in space, which was confirmed by a former NASA employee named Donna Hare, who came forward with her testimony. Garry MacKinnon discovered thousands of high-resolution photographs, many of which contained anomalies referred to as UFOs. So, in other words, Garry found many unidentified phenomena or objects. Let's be clear. Uncovering that information took months because it was not easily accessible and folders in PC weren't labeled like UFOs. Also, most of the content on this computer was routine administrational material. Do you think that is all? Nope, we're just getting started. Supposedly, among the data that he found were documents regarding extraterrestrial races that allegedly in the past, during the 1960s, had contacted the US government and offered assistance in the development of humanity. Reportedly, they were not pleased with the direction our civilization was taking. Why is that? Well, let's go a little back in time. You know what US said? Nope, we don't want to cancel production of nukes, and we don't want to trade nukes for your technology. Why is that? Because nuclear weapon even today is the greatest weapon with which human race is having. In the following years, as we all know, nuclear testing rapidly decreased and the US government declined the offered assistance. Here, I'm only referring to the US government because they are mentioned in the documents. There are many other accounts suggesting that after the supposed refusal of assistance, all governments of the most powerful countries were contacted. Fearing possible retaliation, they began investigating massive, huge resources in the development of space programs aimed at protecting the world from a potential alien invasion. The year 1947, the Roswell incident in New Mexico and the alleged crash of an extraterrestrial craft is just one case among many where the US military obtained advanced technology. Through reverse engineering in the following years, they managed to develop various advancements. Now, some of you might wonder what kind of program they could have had that would adequately protect us from an obvious, more advanced extraterrestrial race. Do you know what it is? What kind of program they make? What they managed to achieve is an important part of this story. Here we come to the Solar Warden project. Have you ever heard of the Solar Warden project? Well, you should have, because Garry MacKinnon, among other things, stamped upon a file a list of 20 non-earthly officers and officials. A list of about 20 names of officers of different ranks. Let me reiterate the importance of these documents. Non-earthly officers and officials. The first thing that came to his mind was astronauts who also hold military ranks, but he did not find any data about any astronauts by those names. However, he did find a list of ships in which these officers served. Since these were US Navy computers, it logically occurred to him to check the names of these ships, one of which was named USSS Highland Co-Ether. Another one he remembered was called Curtis Lee Matt. He couldn't find any of US Navy ships with those names on the internet. Why couldn't he find them? Well, maybe because these weren't ships sailing the seas. I know it sounds unbelievable and incredible, but these are the claims of hacker Garry MacKinnon. Opening one of the many pictures he saw, there was a high-resolution image of one of the ships above, the northern hemisphere of Earth. Yep, northern hemisphere of Earth, in the space, of course. Solar Warden program is supposedly successfully realized by the US military in the 1980s and contains a fleet of 8 ships of this type and over 40 smaller scout ships and transporters capable of space travel. The image you're looking at is an attempt to reconstruct the vision of Garry MacKinnon and USSS Highland Co-Ether, comparing its size to the regular aircraft carrier Gerald Ford, which is as long as 2 football fields. The spacecraft has a crew of 476 people and allegedly costs $24.3 billion. It was produced in 1988. For those who understand English, take a look at the data on the image. It will be really interesting for you. Also, during his hacking, he found evidence of anti-gravity propulsion and free energy technologies known as zero-point energy, which he claimed Nikola Tesla had also discovered. These documents about the existence of such technologies are supposedly hidden from the public eye and founded by black budgets. Of course, I personally can't believe everything in this story just based on a word alone, but there are some interesting facts that suggest this story could be true. After 13 months of uninterrupted access to the secret data of American agencies, Garry MacKinnon was caught, as he himself said, due to laziness and carelessness. After such a long time, he stopped being cautious and became totally relaxed, thinking he would never be discovered, because, as he says, their security was very poor. Personally, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not sure was their security really that bad or if he was just so capable, because even the US government itself admitted that he left messages on their websites. He commented on their poor security by literally writing, "Your security is crap." Another interesting point is that he single-handedly brought down 2,000 Navy computers in one day and completely halted the logistic of the entire US Atlantic Fleet for 24 hours. One man achieved this in 2002. The British agency specialized in cybercrime raided his home and seized all the equipment he had along with all the evidence he possessed. And now we come to the question of why this story could be true. For those who don't know, the United States and the United Kingdom are indeed strong allies with very close diplomatic and military ties. When it comes to the legal proceedings, a legal battle began. The US government sought his extradition, and we know where people who pose a threat to US national security end up. Guantanamo Bay is a place where once you enter, you never leave for the rest of your life. You're subjected to various forms of torture and interrogation every day, and if there's a hell on earth, this place is as close to it as it gets for some inconsequential person. Do you think he wouldn't have been extradited to the US? If he was seen as a threat, he would have been on a plane to the US the same day, and you would never have heard of him again. But not Garry MacKinnon. It took the UK 10 years of legal battles not to extradite him to the United States, where he faced a life sentence. Now, given that these two countries are major allies, why do you think the UK didn't extradite him? Perhaps because he was an important source of information that he had obtained by hacking American agencies. Not to mention that the man has been telling the same story for years. What you heard today about the video threatening one of us with a life sentence, and who knows what horrors await us there, how much would the story change if we hadn't seen anything? But not Garry MacKinnon, aka Solo. For years, he has been telling the same story without any changes that would reveal falsehood or inconsistency in the story. Some might wonder why he didn't release picture and information to the public to prove what he was saying was true like many other geniuses. Garry suffers from a form of autism called Asperger's syndrome, which manifests in obsessive behavior and a singular focus on one goal. Garry didn't hack for us or for the public. He did it for himself. He was interested in it, and he had to know it. During those 13 months of continuous late-night hacking, he barely ate, except when he had to, because he was obsessed with finding new information that interested him. And that's also the reason why the British intelligence agency seized his equipment. Let's recap. NASA deleting emails with pictures of officers working outside of Earth on a fleet of secret American ships. Secret American ships from the Solar Warden program, gravitational technology and free energy called 0 Point. All in one video. Whether you believe it or not, some things in this story are really worth pondering and thinking about. A little. Would you really be shocked if all of this were true? This was a true story about the largest military intrusion into the computer system of a nation in history, carried out by one man, at a time when half of the people in the world didn't even know what the internet was, and some of our viewers weren't even born. Today, Garry MacKinnon, an unemployed computer specialist whom no one in the profession wants to hire anymore, and it's questionable whether he can even leave the UK because we all know that America doesn't forgive. What was his role in British agencies, and did he perhaps work secretly for one of them? It's not known. I know that some of you might be thinking, why are they hiding this from us? They have no reason to. The public has the right to know, and so on, Fox. There are more reasons. Although it's true that these ships are powered by 0 point energy or quantum vacuum energy, explained by highly advanced physics, it's almost free energy generated from the vacuum, including the potential vacuum of space. Why don't they tell us about its existence? Maybe because if this energy were almost free, billions of people would say, if this energy is nearly free, why do we have to pay for expensive electricity? So generally, we haven't even started to discover other technologies, but we already have a massive problem, the revolt of the world population, along with other much bigger issues that we'll discuss in some other videos. Your Global UFO Channel, see you on the Sunday. Bye bye.